Hey, guess what?
Send me some shit, bitch. Send me some shit. Send me some shit.
I'm the librarian, and I came to read. A lot of you guys are so surprised about Khia, and I'm very confused about that because she showed us who she was every time that camera or whatever was used to record was turned on. And you know, Khia is the queen of grainy live streams. Khia is the queen of pixelated periscopes. And if she thinks that she's gonna continue to open her stalactite built ass mouth, you know what I mean? Like the mouth is just serving me all types of deep sea cave. All I'm saying is that if she keeps on opening that mouth, those teeth are gonna fall out. And honestly, I already thought that most of them were out. Now, Khia, if you need to look up stalactite, I'm gonna give you these 3 seconds to do so. 1, 2, 3, you should have Googled that shit up, and hopefully there's an image there that pops up and it reminds you of every time that you look in the mirror. Khia, you're not used to somebody being able to drag that ass, but I'm going to undo that head wrap and take your dreads and make sure that they're flying somewhere in the Dead Sea, dead, kind of like your career. There's no reason for you, and I'm gonna get in on you all next. Some of you guys didn't make any fucking sense, okay? Khia, I literally told you hoes, I said Khia's over here being transphobic, homophobic, transphobic and homophobic. I don't see the Queen's Court going anywhere. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Khia's out here being and y'all were giggling. Oh, it's so funny. Khia's so funny. Oh my God. And it's so cool. It's fun. It's amazing. Be transphobic and homophobic, but don't do it to anybody that I like. You know what I mean? So now that that shit has gone down, I mean, the road was already paved. It was etched in stone how this shit was going to end. Now that she's separated from T.S. Madison, she's doing exactly what she did on the Queen's Court, roasting and gagging. She has somebody on the docket, and it happens to be T.S. Madison. Now she's using every transphobic slur, every homophobic slur that she can ever think of. And I know that may not be a lot considering the brain power or lack thereof that is currently lodged within Khia's skull, but it just goes to show how hypocritical some of you guys have been. And it's a lot of gay men who have been doing this shit, and it's just internalized hatred of themselves. They're so used to hearing that type of slur, you know what I mean, that they're just like, oh girl, it's just, you know, it's just another person just dragging and reading. Says it just goes to show how unskilled some of you guys are at dragging and reading, because you don't have to have that many IQ points to reach for the lowest hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Homophobic and transphobic, sir, that's not something hard to think of. That's not something difficult to come up with. Girl, it doesn't show me your prowess as a wordsmith. It doesn't make any sense. Now, what I need to do is contact Miracle Grow or whatever, because it seems like they put too much energy, they put too much power in their product. Miracle Grow, you did not need to allow that huge onion to be growing inside of Khia's stomach, because every time she opens her mouth, I can imagine that's how rancid that breath smells, okay? That's something that involves a usage of my brain power. Being sexist, being homophobic, being transphobic, that is not something difficult to do, okay? So when you're up here talking like, yes, I love it, she's reading and she's gagging, okay? When that shit is turned against y'all, okay, it's completely a different story. So remember that the next time you're talking about, oh, Adrian, you're too sensitive, relax, it's just a joke. Just think about if those jokes were turned against you, and if they have any room in our society when we're already being fucked over by racist ass white men. We don't have the time. We don't have the time. Educate yourself, stop being fucking ignorant, because it's too many issues we're facing as a black community to go ahead and divide us even further, girl. That's all I have to say on that particular subject. Khia, I hope that you find a toothbrush. Speaking of things that don't make sense, I saw today that Stacey Dash planned on running for Congress, and I'm just like, girl, I'm not sure. You might need to call that shit walking for Congress, because you're gonna get nowhere fast. You're gonna get nowhere fast. Stacey Dash to the trash, like I like to call her. Her version of economics would be making niggas work for free. I don't trust Stacey Dash as far as I can throw her. Matter of fact, I don't trust Stacey Dash as far as she could throw herself into a career that makes sense and makes money, okay? I mean, we're just being real on that. I don't know what more I can say about that topic, because it's something that I feel like exists only in a parallel universe. I can't even relate to that shit. Now, I know that's what we thought about Donald Trump, so I wanna make sure, I think she's in California, make sure that you girls in California get that shit together. But bitch, I don't see this shit happening. What is currently happening, however, is the fact that Jared Kushner ass is getting his ass dragged completely. completely. Okay, let's read. President Trump's national security advisor learned that Kushner had contacts with foreign officials that he did not coordinate through the National Security Council or official report. So what ended up happening is that his ass was downgraded from top secret status, I think, to just like classified, to like just secret status. So his clearance, his security clearance ended up being downgraded. Now the reason they did this is because they seen too much tea spilling in. Apparently China, Israel, Mexico, they were among the nations who were discussing ways to influence Kushner's ass. They also said like the dealings that he has, the business deals that he has is too involved with so many different countries that he could easily be compromised. They could easily use his connections to try and control him. So they were just like, girl, we're downgrading that status. So it's interesting to me that you have all of these guilty pleas, you have all of this tea spilling out, as I said, and people still will hold on to their idiotic belief that Donald Trump has no idea what's going on and that he's completely innocent. So it doesn't make any fucking sense. But speaking of Donald Trump, I wanted to talk about the fact that he's over here saying that he would run in to the school as shootings were going down without a weapon and save the kids in there. And it's just like a bald eagle snapped at your ass and you were just, oh my God, I don't believe your draft dodging shape head ass. I don't believe you for a second. But it's interesting to see how hard some people are dragging the police. And it's just like, wow. So you're allowed to critique the police. Is that what's happening and we're not? All of a sudden, what happened to Blue Lives Matter? What happened to respect the police? Y'all are out here dragging. How dare you not go in? How dare you guys just hide and cower and not go in there and save these kids? And yes, I understand that. That's a valid point. But we were also making valid points for the last fucking decade, for the last eon. Okay? We've been making valid points and it seems like no one wants to take that shit seriously. It's only when little Johnny and Susan are out here sprawled on the floor that we give a fuck, and it's disappointing. What's amazing to me though is that in the face of this tragedy, we're having this conversation about gun control and gun violence. We're having protests. We're seeing people walk out, even though there was one school who prevented kids from walking back in after they walked out. It's just people are being very petty, very annoying in the face of dead kids, and I don't understand it. But a lot of people have this energy so far. Like y'all had this energy this whole time? Black niggas been dying this whole time and you had this energy within you? Damn, sis. And forget about critiquing the police. How dare you? What would you do without them? But y'all can do it in this instance. It doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, Trump's administration is all over the place, okay? NSA Chief Mike Rogers was saying that America does have the capability to stop Russian cyber attacks, but he has not been given any orders from Trump or the White House. So that just goes to tell you whose side Trump is on. When you have another government trying to take advantage of us and you don't do anything to counter it, you're just leaving this shit wide open. It couldn't get more obvious than that. Like, just for argument's sake, you know that there are kids in your house, you know that your family's in your house. But what you decide to do is just leave the door unlocked and open, knowing that something is coming, knowing that the Russians have their eyes on the midterm, knowing that someone has their eyes on, your home, ready to steal the shit out of it. You just leave the door open and say, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. So it's interesting, very telling. The truth is gonna eventually come out. We'll see what this motherfucker was up to. We're gonna see. The truth, it might take some time, but we're gonna end up seeing the truth come out. Now, since we're talking about truth, I wanted to tell the truth about this Georgia bill that just passed. And I think it was the Senate. This bill passed that allowed agencies to not deal with lesbian and gays when we're talking about adoption. They would have the ability to reject anybody who is lesbian or gay from adopting. I think it passed in the Senate of Georgia. It needs to go to the House and pass, and then the governor has to sign it. I believe it will happen. This is the goddamn South. Atlanta is not Georgia. If we're being honest, Atlanta is not Georgia. I believe that it will happen, and I want people to keep in mind that from the moment that I was born, I saw heterosexual relationships. I saw heterosexual ass TV. That's the only thing that I ever saw. Y'all dominated everything, and I'm still out here gay as hell. Number two, if you're afraid that your son will come out gay or your daughter will come out gay, are you fearing for their safety in the society, or are you viewing gayness as negative? If it's the latter, you have some homophobic ass feelings to deal with, sis, and you probably shouldn't be having kids anyway. Because I don't know what y'all expect. You having 3-4 kids or whatever, bitch. One of them likely to be gay, sis, or at least bi. A healthy kid should be your priority, making sure that he or she is living their best life, whatever that life may be, and that's it, sis. The third thing, with so many foster kids needing care, It is crazy to me that people would reject perfectly capable parents. It doesn't make any sense. The fourth thing, if you're not a gay couple, I'm not sure why you're worried about a gay couple wanting to raise a child. If straight people worried about their own lives as much as they worried about my dick sucking life, the world would definitely be a better place. You claim to be so disgusted by gays, and yet you're so invested in what we're fucking doing. Have a good goddamn evening.